What's doing? It's Don doing stuff, and you're listening to the Roman Empire podcast. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Don, and this podcast is about talking art and creating art and traveling. My guest on for this episode is none other than screenwriter, director, cinematographer, and digital aesthetic extraordinaire, Jason Q.
Oh, wow, what a title. Thank you so much for having me on the show, bro.
No worries, mate, no worries. I think for context, Jason and I have been friends for a really long time. We've done projects together. And now I'm living in Singapore, and Jason is living in Sydney. Well, we both
still living in Sydney.
We both grew up in Sydney. So the thing that I wanted to talk to you about was your creative process. Like what do you do to get, I guess, inspired and get creative, and how does it come from this idea to like the complete journey of a completed work of art or completed video? Completed production. Right.
So it kind of depends on like if I'm working with a client or not. Mm-hmm. So generally I kind of suss out their vibe and see what they already have. And generally it's really easy right now to stalk someone and get their vibe. So if they have an Instagram, you can totally go down that alley and just like, I'm going to sell you back what you've already made.
Yeah.
Just in a video format. But if you want something totally different and like something left field for them, then you start building up ideas, and you, depending if it's a music video or say it's like a lookbook thing, they want to change up the look, then you start suggesting ideas. You start building these concepts through just through images. There's tons of images online.
Right.
And pre-production, it's so easy just to build a mood board from that.
Yeah.
So building a mood board, taking all these conceptual ideas and just, I guess, regurgitating them in the most designer way you could.
Yeah. So you kind of take elements of what they are already, as well as elements that you think would work for them. And you kind of mash those together, meld them together to create something new.
Yeah, that's definitely the way I'd approach things. Working with a client.
Yeah.
Just because you don't want to step too far from where their brand is, and if they suggest that they want to go that far, then you take it as far as you can, and they say, no, we don't want to go that far. So you just take it a few steps back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
Nice. I like that. I have a friend who does those kinds of things with fashion. Like he'll take a whole bunch of photos that he finds on the internet, and he's like, okay, this is what I want my wardrobe to look like, and this is like all of the types of looks. Didn't click to me that was a thing that you do when it comes to design, and I didn't think that it extended over to video and
Oh yeah, most definitely. So I think I've picked up a lot more of the design skills. So conceptually building ideas and starting from scratch, just building from the ground up in terms of color palettes, lighting, look, themes. The story is king.
Yeah.
Story is always king. So from your story, everything falls into their place from there. Yeah,
you're matching the mood to all of the references that you have. Now on that, do you think that everything is just a recreation of what's happened before, like in terms of art and video and movies? I mean, we see now movies are just reboots of old movies and reboots of old stories and things like that. Is art just effectively regurgitate?
A
reboot of everything else?
I mean, there's a time and place for everyone, right? So the Renaissance period mildly had its own regurgitation of another period.
Right.
The 1950s had like its own spin on its own period.
Yeah.
So in saying that, yeah, I believe so. Like you don't just take inspiration. You just can't conceptually make an idea. Somewhere deep inside in your subconscious, you've been exposed to this idea somewhere before.
Yeah.
And it's like, depends on like how much of the exposure you've seen of this thing or the experience that you've gone through.
Yep.
These are things that you use. And it's, I mean, you can call it inspiration, you can call it like a reboot, you can call it like a remix. It could be all of the above.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is what you've been exposed to. Like from childhood to your late teens, it all makes the biggest difference. They're like building blocks for you.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. I think in artists now, I guess musicians, you can hear a particular influence, right?
Yeah.
In some directors like Tarantino, you can see a particular influence in some of the movies that he has that he's made.
Yeah.
But effectively, inspiration is taking references that you've experienced, references that you've seen, and internalizing that, and then creating based on all of those experiences, based on all of those references.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I like that.
Even like what the trending music now, it's like Migos, like all the triplet sounds.
Oh yeah.
Just this. I was watching a documentary the other day about them, and
is that the Vox
I did not know. Yeah, I did not know that it dated back to like the 90s.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And it stretched over to like the late 2000. What year is it? It's 2018. So it's been like nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if you even go back even further, the Triplets would be in like the African beats.
Yeah, for
the really
sure.
tribal type of beats. That I love that sound. I just love the sound of Triplets. I don't know what it is. I think it's because it's rhythmic, but at the same time it's not too constant or repetitive, or I can't find the word, but yeah, triplets are fun.
Triplets are fun.
I was trying to write in triplets, but it's a different way of writing because you don't sing much in triplets. You know what I mean? Like it's not, or it's very difficult to have individual notes in the, anyway, I don't want to get technical. But I like triplets and I know what you're saying. And I have seen that
Don's triplet rants.
I have seen that documentary as well.
Yeah, it was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I like those ones.
Yeah, so I also want to make a reference to something that I also do, which is Pinterest. Now, like a lot of guys say, yeah, Pinterest is for girls, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's a catalog. It's an online catalog for your newspaper clippings.
Right.
And you just straight up have like, these are mood boards that just straight up, bam, you just save it. Essentially what you're doing in real life is you're cutting newspaper clippings out and you're putting it into a corkboard. This is exactly the same thing. You're just building that up in a digital form, and it's fast. It is so fast. You can just throw images together and just boom, send it to your client. Done.
I never thought of it like that. Like
you should check out my Pinterest.
Give me the link to your Pinterest, and we'll link it below.
We'll do. Yeah,
wow,
so
that's actually mind blown right now, because I didn't think that Pinterest was I didn't think of using it like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just I like these images, let's put them all together.
Yeah.
But
building themes and stories from them, it is such a powerful tool.
That's awesome. You just gave away like your number one was that your number one secret in creating in production?
It really isn't.
Production Secrets by Jason Q.
Production secrets. I have a lot of books that I'm like still reading. I'm managing to go through.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's for another day that we can cover that.
yeah. That'd be really interesting to talk about. Like books about production and books about
books about
art.
Story, books about dialogue, how people talk, the ranges in which people talk in.
Yeah.
Ranges.
Ranges as in the frequency.
Ranges as in your intent.
Okay.
So sorry, range for me. Range covers a lot of things. It's just like point A to point Z. That's like your range in between there.
Okay.
And how extreme you go with like your language.
Okay.
So if I could say like FU, that's on like the Z level of the spectrum. You know, that's really aggressive in the delivery as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But if I say, "Hey man, how's it going?" That's on the A level
or a positive positive level of that range.
Yeah. I mean, if you put it into a grid, it's gonna be like a 3-dimensional range of like, oh, it's a positive. What's his intent here? You know?
Yeah.
Is there an underlying? It's like, hey man.
Or it could be, hey man.
Yeah, and you don't know the intent behind it, so it's like there's a.
Right. So there's now. Do you use that for directing? Do you use that?
I do.
So when it comes to an actor saying, "Oh, I need you to say this, but the intent needs to be here."
Yeah. So I do give them background to why they're saying it, and that gives them a bit more context rather than just reading words off a script.
And that's what's my motivation? That's that thing, right?
That is definitely that thing.
Because I've tried to act. Tried is the operative word here. Tried to act in some of your productions.
For me.
We'll link all of the projects. And you can see me being an idiot in each one of them.
I think you did well. You think you did well.
Yeah, I think acting in stuff is a lot more difficult than people give it credit for, and directing is a lot more difficult than people give it credit for, because just like you said, there's it's saying the line but having a particular intention, having a particular motivation behind it.
Yeah, and you try getting into that. If you receive the script on the day, you're unlucky, because you have to get into that mindset over like an hour or so, 2 hours. But if you have a week to prepare, then you know the intent of this character. That's why I guess like you'd give credit to such amazing actors like Heath Ledger, like isolating himself for like 3 months.
Yeah.
To become the Joker. Man, that's incredible. That is hard. Like, you're on your own course as well, because I couldn't imagine just like separating myself from the rest of society and like my family and my friends just to become and embody this character. But it is work, and you want to bring your professionalism to that, to the production. You want to bring it. You bring your game, and I mean, like, that's something I learned as well. Like, when you come out there, you got to bring it, and the other actors will bring it to that level as well. So they will equally match you. In terms of performance.
I like that. I'd never. I mean, I knew that he worked really hard on that character, and you can see it in the movie. But yeah, that's a you're telling it to me in a completely different way, and this stuff blows my mind. Here's a question. So musicians tend to get their energy from the crowd, or they, there's a swap of energy. If the crowd is energetic, then the musician gets energy, and if the musician is energetic, then the crowd is also energetic. Now, you were just talking about actors bringing their A game, and then another one being like, you work together, that there's that synergy. Is that an element in directing as well, in direction? So if you have a particular mood, or if you're feeling a particular energy, rather, like if you're feeling like extra energetic for a shoot, Does that
Yep.
does that come across in the film as well?
Yeah, most definitely. I was on production for a recent web series. I was like guest directing there,
Awesome.
where the scene was a melancholy scene. It was a very sad and emotional scene.
Right.
And for the beginning, I was working with the crew, and we're all setting up, and everyone's like cheery and laughing. Meanwhile, the actress, she's at the back, and she's getting into her zone because she knows the context of the script. She had to get into that headspace.
Yep.
Whereas the rest of the crew outside, they were goofing around and they were like saying like, "Hey, big connect," and all this all this garbage. and as soon as the actress stepped out on step, I 100% knew we had to bring it from like an 8 down to like 1 in terms of mood.
Yeah.
And everyone had to be a bit lower, even though like it was it's fun for everyone and we're still all working. We had to bring it down just so the context for her, she knows that this isn't that like happy, cheery place. You can't.
Yeah.
We weren't throwing jokes around anymore. We had to tone it down like tenfold.
You basically had to match the mood.
Yeah.
For the
definitely.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like vice versa for me, if we were on set and it was like a happy-go-lucky sort of shoot, we would bring it. Like I would bring it. Like just bring the energy. You got to inspire your actors to go to that place.
Right.
You know, you can't just expect them to step into that zone. How's that possible? Like if they're an amazing actor, then yeah, for sure. Like they could just throw it out there, and if they have a big personality. But no one can, like, as we were saying before, like, for inspiration, you can't just expect someone just to draw from this. You gotta talk to them, draw from their experiences of, like, the most happy place that they've been to, or, like, the most sky-high place that they've been to. Look, we don't do drugs, kid. But you could be high on emotion.
High on life.
High on life, most definitely. You could have you could be having the most best day ever, just on a day out, like just going to the beach. Yeah,
and you want to bring that kind of emotion and energy to the set.
Yeah, for sure. So you just have to, I feel as a director, you're inspiring your crew. You're inspiring. You're the captain basically, and if the captain is not doing his job in terms of guiding everyone and showing everyone the way, then you should have a mutiny and kick him off.
Get a new captain.
Right. Throw him off. He's
not doing his job right.
He's not doing his job. Just kick him off the boat.
I like that. That's really cool, and I think talking to you about this stuff, I'm seeing, because I understand these things in the musical context, in the performance context, but I'm also seeing that in the context of film and production and you know, creating a video, creating a short film. Speaking of films and shooting videos, you got the opportunity to travel and shoot videos, right?
Yes.
I have. Now you were shooting for are we allowed to say the company? Because
maybe not right now.
So yeah, you were shooting for a particular company, and you went to which countries?
So I traveled around Southeast Asia. So Singapore, actually we landed in Jakarta first. I can't remember. Okay, it's Singapore, Jakarta, and then I had like a little break in between where I went to Tasmania, and then we came back and we were in Vietnam and Thailand.
Yeah.
Yes. It was quite the trip.
What was that like? I mean, that's not. Did you have to get creative for that? Did that take your creative stuff, or were you just shooting for them?
I mean, as a as a DOP, you'd bring that to the table, where you'd get like the best images as you can.
Yep.
And you bring what you're trying to capture. What the brief was to capture the local vibe.
Okay.
So you need to bring that into your images. You need to motivate that through your images. And it's not just like point and shoot. You gotta find what says this about this country. So in terms of Singapore, we went to Little India.
Right.
Traveled around Little India.
Yeah.
Man, that place that's like, Singapore is such a melting pot.
Yep.
It is such a hub of, if Sydney was Asia, if Sydney was in Asia, it would be equivalent to Singapore. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Just because there's so many different cultures mixed into one place.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Sydney's quite diverse.
Yeah. So big melting pot of culture there. So we had Little India. We had Haji Lane.
Yep.
Haji Lane's like incredible. Like, it's just like a hub of culture. They have street art. They have musicians, just live musicians. They have tactile art. They have even like selfie lattes. Like, what is this? This is incredible, man.
I did see those. I haven't tried them yet, though.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about drinking myself in a cup, but
but yeah. So you went to Singapore, and then you were trying to
capture the local culture.
Yeah.
And there's so many things. Like, there's like the Chinese side of it. There's Chinatown. Like, we got to try out like Chilli Crab, and Chilli Crab in Singapore is the bomb.
And now
you cannot replicate Chilli Crab in Singapore anywhere else.
Now, I might get kicked out of Singapore for saying this, but I'm not a fan of Chilli Crab. I'm not a fan of it.
They're coming for you. You're gonna get ejected out of the country. Yeah.
Oh well. I guess you'll see me back in Sydney.
All right, we got Don back, guys. No, but just in terms of just culture, there's so many diverse cultures there. We went to all the hawker centers. We captured that.
Yep.
Got to try the food out as well. You know, I'm telling you what Singapore is like.
Yeah, I know. Singapore has this culture of food.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say that that Singapore has some of the best food, but
in the world, like, you got like a hawker center, Michelin star restaurant,
chicken rice, the chicken rice hawker center.
It's just like a side stand on the street.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I have some opinions about the food, but that's my own opinions. But no, some of the food here is really good, and I think the diverse variety of food is what makes it really good, because you can have, you can walk into a hawker center and get sambal stingray, which is a Malaysian dish, but at the same time, if you feel like noodles, then you've got that's the Chinese side. That, there's just, or if you'd like curry, with some naan. It's all in the same place. Yeah. And if you want to have them all together, then yeah.
You could do that. Like, and it's not overly expensive.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
But it's just just on food talk, we can bring it back to the culture side. It's just a melting pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just comes all together very well.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's quite harmonious. And I feel like everything works pretty well over there.
Right. And so you were trying to capture that culture, the culture of diversity and food here in Singapore. Mm-hmm. And that was your interpretation or your observation of what it meant to be local here in Singapore? Yeah. I'd say so. Yeah.
I mean, it might, that's like an outsider's opinion, but
I think that's pretty spot on. There's lots of diverse ethnicities here, and they bring all of their food. And Singapore is definitely a melting pot. What was it like? What was your observation in Jakarta?
I was only there for a day.
Yeah.
In technicality, it is a dense population over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people over there. I had no idea, and I was told that it was like it was like the fourth most populated country in the world.
Wow.
It's next to like there's like America, China, India, and then there's Indonesia.
Right.
Wow, it's such a small place, but it's so dense
Heavily
in population.
populated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you spent a lot more time in Vietnam.
Yep.
And how much time did you spend in Vietnam and Thailand?
Vietnam was about a week. Thailand was about a little bit less than a week.
Right. So you were able to get a better observation or better vibe of their.
Yeah, for sure.
For the shoot, what was your understanding of local vibe for them?
Local vibe. Vietnam. I went to Vietnam as a kid, and like I liked it, but I didn't understand everything what was going on there at that point in time.
Yeah.
So coming back to it, like a lot had changed.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, it was still, I think it was just recollecting from the war period still.
Okay.
So it seemed still very third worldish. It seemed very second or third worldish. But there was a lot of recollecting, rebuilding that was going on.
Yeah.
And coming back to it, the millennial generation have brought it to a different place, I guess. Like there was a different vibe. Everyone was a lot more trendier.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like, they're really friendly over there. They're fun, excited, ecstatic about life. And life is like, it can be as simple as running a small restaurant to, the glitz and glam of TV over there. So
yeah. How did you capture that in your film, and I guess in your shoots? And that might be a very difficult question to answer. Without getting too technical about your shots.
Yeah.
Were the images just images of trendy parts of?
Yeah, it would be a lot of the trendy local parts of Vietnam.
Yep.
Would capture the locals as well. They were more than happy to be on camera. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just more of the vibe of Vietnam. A lot of motorbikes, a lot of riding around, a lot of small nooks and crannies as well.
Yeah.
It's also very dense. Like buildings are built up to like 3-4 stories high. Mm-hmm. 2 to 4 stories high, and these are just your normal everyday buildings. So your house could be possibly 3 stories high,
Wow.
And yeah, and it's just I don't have the words for that. So
I guess it's something that's easier shown than described, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like it'd be much easier for you to go, this is how I describe Vietnam in these sequence of shots.
Yeah.
Was that the same for Thailand?
I'd say it's pretty much the same for Thailand.
Yeah.
Although we nearly got arrested.
What? What?
This is news to you. No, we just had our cameras confiscated because we were filming around the I think it's like the Royal Palace.
Okay.
It's like no cameras, no professional cameras. I was like, okay, and they just confiscated it.
Wow.
So,
and you got them back. What was the story?
Yeah, everything was fine. They deleted that footage, which is
right.
Yeah, but I guess at the same time, being respectful, you wouldn't want to put that footage into the actual video itself.
Yeah. Because the client will get in trouble.
Yeah, they would.
You could have said another story like, oh yeah, we got arrested. One of us ended up with a tattoo on their face, and
It wasn't me, clearly, but yeah, one of us got a good tattoo on our faces.
Jason Q
And now
in
now
Hangover
we're
4. Yeah.
Yeah, and now Thailand has taken us.
Well, as long as your cameras are safe and as long as you guys are safe, then I guess you guys being safe is the more important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the end of the day, it's about safety. It's about it's about your well-being rather than the shoot. So don't go too hard with the shoots. Yeah.
Follow the rules, kids. Don't go too crazy. Now, so these shoots you traveled for work. This is for a client. You did a particular shoot in Japan. Now you were in Japan for a holiday, but then you went. You wanted to get ambitious and shoot a video or shoot a short film within one day.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So at that period of time, it was like me and my girlfriend who were planning a holiday to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and we were spending 3 weeks over there, so it was a good chunk of time.
Yep.
So I thought, like, I had at that point met a model that was from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
She's a model actress, and she said, I was telling her about like what I wanted to do, and she's like, "Hey, I could help out with that." So she could, she actually lined things up for me and took on the role of being the producer.
Nice.
So shout out to Natsuki.
Yeah.
Yeah, she took that role, and then we started auditioning from this side of the planet over Skype, actually.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're having Skype auditions, and we're lining them up, and it was pretty cool. We got like a few video auditions because like connection over here, Japan has like insane internet. Over here, it's the opposite of insane internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we lined up auditions and we got our actors, and then we planned the date, and we got in contact. I got in contact with you because I was telling you about the shoot as well.
Yeah.
And
I had a friend living over there.
You had a friend. Yeah. Kirk.
Yes, shout out to Kirk.
Kirk actually lent us his apartment, his one better apartment, which is really cool of him. And he actually, like, this is the extent of trust he gave. He gave me his only key to the apartment.
Right.
And he's like, go crazy. It's like yours for the day. And so they left, and we were just shooting all day in the apartment, coming out, getting our exterior shots. And like by nighttime, he'd come back and he said, "Oh, thanks for putting my apartment in your short film." Like, such a cool dude. Like, Japan's so trusting here.
I see. I'm seeing a trend. I'm seeing a trend here that people trust us with their houses and their apartments. With
Yeah.
Hey, we want to shoot in your apartment. Is that fine? Yeah, that's cool. Just take the whole house. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, do your due diligence and just keep it nice, guys. Don't wreck the place.
Oh man,
Yeah.
we should try to do a project where we do a shoot in somebody's mansion or some really really like glitzy fancy house and see
Like Little Dicky.
Yeah, we should do that.
Have you seen that?
I've seen that video.
The documentary
save
as well,
that
where
money.
he's just like hunting around. Yeah, save that money, dude.
I
mean, you can only ask, right? It doesn't hurt to ask.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
that's such a great approach to life. Just ask.
Yeah, exactly. So you did that short film, and we can link it. The short film was called Welcome Home, right?
Welcome home. Yeah,
Welcome
that's
Home.
correct.
For the 3 weeks that you were in Japan, you were there. You only allocated one day for the shoot.
Yeah, that's correct.
So about 24 hours, rather.
24 hours roughly, probably less than.
Yep.
I did come out a day earlier to meet up with Kirk and have a quick location scout around his side of the hood.
Yep.
Which was like just outside of Tokyo.
Okay.
So we did get very close to Tokyo Tower, if that kind of makes sense to anyone that's been to Japan.
Right.
I think it was his suburb was a suburb or town. It was Minato, so it was just outside of Japan,
Right.
outside of Tokyo.
Right.
Yeah, so just outside of Tokyo, and it was a bit of the quieter side of Tokyo.
Yeah.
So that did come into play. I mean, that did give us a bit more freedom to wander around and just
look for locations to shoot.
Yeah, and we were free to shoot. Well, it felt like we were free to shoot. I didn't actually know the laws over there about shooting, but we just did it.
Oh, you didn't get arrested, so.
Yeah, unlike some other country.
Well, I think the lesson there is don't shoot at sacred palaces.
Yeah, I think that's actually the real lesson.
Yeah.
So it was a case of that,
Yep.
and then coming out on the night, and I actually met up with the actors as well, and we had a quick read through of the script. And the intention of the script and where we're coming from and where I was going.
Now, just to don't mean to interrupt you there, but
yeah,
do you speak Japanese? You don't speak Japanese, do you?
You know those guys that watch like a lot of anime,
right?
And then you like just pick up words because you because you're watching so much anime.
Right.
No, I actually studied a little bit of Japanese like in high school.
Yep.
So I could read just a little bit, the tiniest bit, and I could understand just the tiniest bit because I've been around like Japanese friends and Japanese culture over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for context, for the podcast, the short film is purely in Japanese. So the actors are Japanese and they're speaking in Japanese. How was that difficult for you to audition them and then direct them in a, not fully knowing the language? Yeah,
there was a lot of language barrier actually. In auditioning, Natsuki was here with me, so she gave me a briefing of how they sounded, because for me, everyone just sounds like cool. You're speaking Japanese, hey, you're automatically cool. But but in terms of like performance, she gave me the rundown of like who actually sounded good, who was like well spoken and articulated very well.
Right.
She did that, and when we went over to Japan, she had a friend volunteer and help out to help translate.
Awesome.
On the night as well. So. Yeah. Oh, I guess you didn't know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so her friend Esther came out and she translated the script. She was translating what I was saying in terms of like what I wanted from the dialogue and the action and how we were gonna block it out. So yeah, it was a little bit difficult like during the day because she wasn't there, but for the rest of the evening, like it looked pretty good. Japan is actually very well lit at night, so shooting low light scenes or street scenes around there is actually pretty easy.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah, fun times. It was
now. So those are the projects that you've done in the past. What's coming up? What's up and coming for Mr. Jason Q? Like what's in the pipeline?
There's a few things in the pipeline. There may be like an anime come to life.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's actually coming up. And I gotta really get onto that. It's a little bit difficult being a like one-man band for the most part, but getting more hands on board and just getting the shoot organized and coordinated, it's starting to shape. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And where can people see your work?
So just head over to youtube.com/C/JasonQ and you'll find me there.
Letter C or?
Yeah, the letter C.
Yeah.
So I actually wanted the URL youtube.com/JasonQ, but some guy already took it, and I thought I was the only Jason Q in the world. So
Right.
what gives, man? What gives? And you're not active? Come on, dude. Just give me the URL.
So
Bro,
it's
just give me the URL.
Jason Jasonqueue. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct. So it's like youtube.com/C/Jason Q.
Ah, right. Okay. Ah, you got to put
think
the
I got
C in
that.
front of it.
Yeah, because it's a custom URL.
Nice. Jason Q.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to plug, or just your Instagram, your Facebook?
Yeah, you can head over to my Instagram, check out the work that I'm doing there. It's like @JasonQ. So
Yeah.
trying to get all the Jason Qs in terms of like a handle, a URL. Man, it's difficult. Some people just straight up buy out your URLs, your handles.
I think. Did you ever message that person? They probably bought it so that they can sell it to someone else.
Yeah, like me, like a sucker like me. No, I didn't actually message them, but I'll get on top of that. Dude, just sell me give me your account, please.
Just get YouTube to delete their account. So
just report
all of their non-videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else I could plug? There is also Save the Don Doing Stuff charity. If you guys want to head over there, he's currently stuck in Singapore. It's been all over the news, and I think everyone should get on top of this. So if you could donate to that foundation over there, we can bring him back to Australia. And we could bring him back to Australia. And what's your favorite food, bro?
Let's say pizza.
Pizza. We can get him an Australian pizza. As enticing as that sounds, I have no idea what a real Australian pizza would actually taste like.
Maybe one from Eagle Boys, or like at a kebab shop or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, most definitely.
Oh man, I hope that I get to see you in person again sometime soon. Thank you for coming onto the podcast and talking about your art.
Thank you for having me. It was lots of fun.
Yeah.
We'll catch up offline, and and thanks for listening to the show. I'm gonna close off now. This was Don Doing Stuff. See you guys next time. I don't know I haven't even listened to your podcast yet. I'm so sorry.
All right. So yeah, thanks again for coming. This is Don Doing Stuff. I hope you guys are doing well. Cheers.
See you guys. I get the last word.